By the way, before I leave here for the night, I want to say something for all you ADHD people. By the way, if it's your first time joining my channel, my name is Seth. You're listening to the Apocalyptic Optimaps channel. I also am a Luciferian archetype, and all of those great things. Um, by the way, if you have ADHD and you watch my videos and you find yourself and you're like, you really want to take these videos seriously because I'm the only source of actual knowledge on YouTube, almost. So you really want to take these videos, seriously. You want to listen to every word because you don't want to miss something. That's fine that you're going into La La Land while you're listening to there's some videos that are made to put you to sleep, and not in a bad way. It's like some of my videos are very soothing because I have a soothing voice, so it doesn't look like it, but it does happen that you will fall asleep. You'll fall asleep. It's very normal. That's because you understand. If you fall asleep while watching my videos because you understand, or because you're bored because you don't listen to that sort of thing. But most of the time, if you fall asleep on my videos, it's very normal. It's not because I'm not interested. It's not because you don't understand or you're too stupid. And so because you're too stupid, your brain is like mush. So when you hear something, you kind of fall. That's not the reason why I don't feel bad. It's normal. In some of my videos, it's normal. And yeah, it's normal to just phase out here because the concepts which I speak of go into the cosmos. So it's normal to the ramblings of a madman. There's some. Let's just put it that way. There's some ramblings that you shouldn't listen to, because if you listen to those ramblings, it's gonna, bring you other places. It's gonna make you go crazy and shit. It's gonna make you lose your mind. This is the same concept. These videos, I'm very aware that people will drift off, and I want you, it doesn't mean, just because you're not actively listening, that doesn't mean that you're not listening. Right? And you can always listen to a part that seems interesting later and stuff like that. And please do take your time when you watch my videos. I don't care if it takes 2-3 days, a week, or month. I don't give a shit. It's not a race. We're not in a hurry. Don't worry about it. Right? And also, I drift off. When I listen to good things, I drift off. To me, that's an indication that it's good, because something that's full of negative energy is not going to permit you to drift off. That means you won't be able to stare away from the thing because it's trying to gain your attention. You're saying bullshit and you want to disturb the person's inside. So you're not going to build your construct in a fashion where the person can drift off and do other things. No, you want that person to empty a little bit of their cup and let you inside. So in order to do that, you're going to have you're going to do or say things that are very aggressive in order to maintain the person's attention. I don't do that because my goal is not to necessarily maintain there's no reason for me to maintain your attention because I don't have a thing for you anyway. So there's no need for me to do that. Like, I don't have necessarily an agenda. I don't have a global public agenda, a societal agenda. I have a business. I have a product. I have knowledge. I have magic. I have spirituality. That's what I have, and that's what I sell, if I'm selling anything at all. So that's the major difference when you're especially if you're a spiritual person. I feel like spiritual people tend to think that their version of ADHD is the same as regular people's ADHD, bro. Like, it's not. Spiritual people that have ADHD or dyslexia, that see things that are not supposed to be there, that's I started when I was a kid. I used to read a lot. I always talk about how much I used to read, but I had mild dyslexia. And I always thought I had a problem, but I didn't, because it's not like it didn't stop me. I mean, there was something going on there and I didn't know what it was. There was something happening and I didn't understand it, cuz you don't need to be literate to do math, right? Math is not letters, it's numbers. So, I was worse at math than I was at French, right? In French, because I went to French speaking school, I was very good at French, right? I was very good at French. So it wasn't the dyslexia that was disturbing me. There was something else going on. And it took me a couple years before figuring out that it was my it was my psychic powers that was doing that, that was creating a form of dyslexia. So numbers, and that's important that I say numbers. It felt like I have this, I'm not a huge genius like Einstein, okay? Obviously, I don't think I need to say that, but but nevertheless, I have this thing where I'm kind of like Einstein. You know, some people call it autism. Anyway, but I don't think it's autism. I have this thing because Einstein wasn't good at math, but he could see things that other people couldn't. Just like Nikola Tesla could see things that other people couldn't. And it's kind of like, and math was a beautiful journey for me. It was one of my many journeys because I was very bad at math when I was a kid. I'm still bad at math, but like, but I was way worse when I was a kid. I was really bad at math. But the funny thing is now math is my ally. Like, math is my friend. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I understand math now. Like I said in one of my videos, a month ago or 2 months ago, I think it was 2 months ago, I made a video where I said some magicians talk about math and mathematicians or scientists talk about magic. It's actually the contrary. It's actually vice versa, right? Like, we talk about math. Like, a real magician is speaking math. You know, some people, especially in the United States, I don't think in Canada they do that, but well, no, in the United States either. Nobody does that. The Illuminati, the Black Boule, right, and their fucking bullshit, supposed black movies, they're always talking about speaking math. And of course, some people say that. Some people say speaking math, right? That's what that is. That's higher consciousness, blah, blah, blah. They talk about Pan-Africanism, higher consciousness, blah, blah, blah. It's just magic. To me, it's just magic, right? You know, it's not Pan-Africanism. It's not da, 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 da. I don't think I'm better than you. He's not better than me. I don't think I'm better than you. It's just, when I say speaking math, I mean magic, because it is magic, right? And so it took a long time before I understood constructing words together, putting words together, and understand that that's math, addition, division, and stuff like that. So language is math. So we are constantly always doing math. Just like we're always doing magic, we are always doing math. We're just not aware that we're doing math. Because math is not just one thing. Math is a category of a multitude of categories, right? It's just the title of a bunch of categories. So in math, there's geometry, there's algorithms, algebra, trigonometry, number science, and stuff like that, right? Like, so there's a lot of things in there, right? So when you understand that, and geometry, of course, magic has a lot to do with geometry. A lot of people like to incorporate geometry in their magic. You know, well, a lot of people, I don't know, some people like to assume that geometry has a place in magic. Henceforth, you're doing math, right? So it took me a couple of years actually before understanding that, yo, I'm doing math every day. And I thought math was only when I did math. I thought math was only when I was like use a calculator and do math. So my dyslexia stemmed from there. So basically what was happening is I was understanding, and I wasn't that bad. Like I was one of those kids that would find the answer to the question that was asked, but not in the same way that it was told to me to find the answer, right? And then I would always find myself with the teacher saying, yeah, how did the teachers would always be asking me, how did you find the answer? Like, well, I did this and that and this and that and this and that. And they would tell me, but that's not how you're supposed to do it. Now you got to go do it, but the same way. So now I have to go back to my seat and do it the same way, find the answer the same way that they did. And for some reason, I remember that sometimes it felt like the way that people did it didn't make sense to me. Like I would look at an equation and I'd be like, that's weird and that's stupid. Like, you know, and but you know, anyway, so and there's a lot of kids like that out there, and a lot of time they think there's some people that make it and understand that it's because of their vision, but there's a lot of kids that don't understand that it's because they have a different vision of things, and that's why that's the cause of the dyslexia, right? Because dyslexia is it's a powerful word too if you go deep into the word dyslexia, because you're overlapping two realities above each other, and that's why so the wires get crossed and you're seeing two things at the same time, but there's only one thing. And that's one of the thing about the magic that I'm discovering about life. That's the thing about life, is you're always doing two things at the same time. You're just not aware. You know, some people are doing more than two things at the same time. It's like I do a lot of things at the same. Well, actually, nowadays I do two things at the same time, but there was a time period where I used to do more than two things at the same time. I have the capability of doing more than two things at the same time, and I'm not talking about like just speaking to a person, right? Is doing two things at the same time, but you're not aware that you're doing two things at the same time, but you are. Right? Like, you know, so just talking, and everybody talks to people, right? So, and that's one of the reasons why the Illuminati doesn't want people to communicate, because if people understand that through communication they can do a lot of things, then they're fucked. But no need to worry, because everybody's gay and everybody wants to be a pedo, so I guess they don't have to worry about that now, do they? Anyway, so well, not everybody, but you know, there's a lot of people, man. It's fucking weird. But anyways, back to what we were saying. So if you have ADHD, for a spiritual person, you have to understand, if you have ADHD, is because you're understanding, it's your brain's way of understanding the notions that are being brought, and then it goes on into formulating its own hypotenuse based off of what it's listening. So then you drift off into other things, but those other things are actually correlated to what's going on in the meantime, bro. And for some people, I would even say, like, really don't worry. Like, if you're cleaning, as long as you can hear the words, you don't even need to pay attention to what I'm saying. Almost. Right? Like, if you start paying attention for like the first 5 minutes, and then you understand what's going on, and then you decide to like clean your room and shit, or just wash the dishes or some shit like that while you're listening to it, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You're gonna, your brain is recording what I'm saying, and you're actually analyzing what I'm saying at the same time. So you're doing two things at the same time, three things at the same time. You're washing the dishes, you're analyzing what was said, and you're listening to the rest of the added elements and the added components, which will result in you either having a dream, because dreams help to reconstruct things. Also, not all the times. You might not have a dream all the time, but sometimes it can happen. If you listen to my videos, you might have a dream. It's very normal. You might have a dream because you understand, especially if you're not listening and being just butthurt and angry, you know, about what I'm saying and shit. Yeah, you're going to gain gnosis. You're going to gain gnosis. You're going to gain, some kind of answer, some way, somehow, some shape or form. Because I'm not going to act like, I'm the end all tell all of everything. I'm not saying like every fucking word I'm saying is like the complete and utter unbeknownst truth of the universe and shit like that. There might be some shit that you already know. There might be some things that you might not know. There might be some things that might be more powerful. There might be some things that are less powerful. All I'm doing is stating facts, stating spiritual facts. That's all I do here, right? So that is all. So I'm just trying to involve everyone here. So like I said, man, if you have ADHD, if you're listening to these videos, and they're very long, if you're listening to these videos and you find yourself drifting off, that's fine. That means you're consuming it. That's your way of consuming the information, right? And of course, if you listen to doctors and psychologists, they're going to tell you, oh, you can't pay attention, there's something wrong with you, blah, 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 blah. And maybe in some cases they're right. But if you're a spiritual person, you're a spiritual person, that shit happens, you have to understand that you probably didn't take under consideration that your ADHD is not really ADHD. It's a little bit more than that. It's because you're capable of really diving into a world, analyze it, reconstruct it, and then grasp it. It's your people. Everybody has a different way to eat, right? Like if I give an apple to you, you're going to eat it with your hands. Another person, I'm going to give an apple to another person. He's going to eat it with a knife. I give an apple to another person, he's going to clean it off first. I give an apple to another person, he's not going to clean it off first. I give an apple to another. Everybody has a different way to eat. So you have to understand this is your method of consuming knowledge, right? And it's a wonderful method too, because that means in some shape or form, you are connected to the higher realms, right? Because what you're doing is you're entering an astral plane of physics. That's what happens when you have ADHD. You're listening to videos like this that talk about ancient knowledge and shit like that, and then you just drift off and like let yourself drift off. Come back later. Don't stop yourself from drifting off. The worst thing you could do when you have spiritual ADHD is stopping your drifting. I don't stop my drifting. I used to try to stop my drifting when I used to drift off. I don't ever stop. And I'm talking about a long time ago. Like since I was 15, I never stopped my drift. Like when I drift, I fucking drift. If I need to go, I'll go back to the video later. I'll just go back to the video later. But if I drift, I fucking drift because there's a reason why I'm drifting. And it's going to lead me somewhere. It's gonna lead me somewhere, so there's a reason why I'm drifting, and I don't stop my drifts. Whether I'm listening to the video, I go clean. There's an idea, and most of the time that's what happens. I get like a genius idea. I get like that's how I come up with stuff sometimes, by drifting off, by listening to something or someone that makes sense, that doesn't have negative energy, that's not full of pure hate, by listening to people like that, and then I drift off into my own dimension because I'm starting to understand what the guy is saying, and I'm reflecting on what the guy is saying at an alarming rate, because that's what's happening too. You got ADHD, so you think faster, right? And it doesn't look like you're thinking fast because you're in imagination land, but the thing is, your imagination and your logic is like you're dreaming, but with your eyes open, right? So your brain is trying to make sense of everything that's going on in a fashion that could be useful to you, in a fashion that is denounced to you. And if it's not, you're not going to be interested in what you're listening, and you're going to turn it off, right? So don't let yourself drift. That's all I wanted to say. Quick side note, by the way, I felt like I don't state that enough, actually. And it's an interesting subject, the whole dyslexia thing and the whole spiritual ADHD thing, man. It's an interesting thing. I mean, spiritual ADHD is just people that are capable of drifting off to the astral realm while they're awake, and they probably don't notice or don't actually like understand that that's what's going on. And And then you have dyslexia, which is very interesting because dyslexia is fucking weird. It's like Mandela effect kind of shit. So dyslexia is very bizarre, bro. There's a lot of these psychological mishaps. I'll say mishaps that happen. The psychological how do you say small psychological defects that are very connected to the spiritual realm, and a lot of I feel like a lot of psychological problems could probably be solved through actual real spirituality, right? I'm talking about like Buddhism and Taoism and shit like that, right? Like things, magical systems that incorporate logic and psychology, I think can actually help a person that has assuming mental disabilities, right? You know, because I don't think you can save everybody through spirituality, you know, but you know, I do think sometimes medication is needed. And some people are just too far gone, you know, to even care about in that fashion, you know, but in some cases, I think a lot of maybe low level psychological problems, a lot of low level psychological problems can definitely be solved through spirituality. I completely believe that. Now, you don't need any medication or stuff like that. I think a mental unbalance is chemical unbalance. So good eating, good diet, and having a mentor to keep you to go into the sunken place and give you a little bit of physical training, you should get out of that mental cave that a person built for themselves, like, you know, easily, very easily. I think it's easy work. I mean, like, not really easy, but I mean easy in the sense of prescribing, giving someone a subscription for something. I think spirituality could definitely, you know, help. And in some shape or form, I'm pretty sure the government knows that, you know, and that's why they're going at war with actual magicians and actual like spiritual people or good people. Because imagine, if you will, you're a toxic person, but the only reason why you're toxic because you never met a good person before in your life, right? And then you walk down the street, you meet a good person, guy or girl, and then you end up being best friends for the rest of your fucking life, and then you're not toxic anymore. Bada bing, bada boom. Right? That easy. But nah, instead, everything is at war. White against black, black is black, girls versus girls, girls versus guys, guys versus girls, guys versus guys, spiritual versus non-spiritual, spiritual versus spiritual, like religious versus non-religious, religious versus religious. Everybody's fighting, so nobody has the time for themselves, right? Like nobody's taking time to be themselves, right? And so we don't have access to a lot of things anymore because of all of these alleged wars, right? It could be very easy, and that could happen, you know, regardless if evil exists, regardless if good exists. You're walking down the fucking street. That's not your fucking fault. It just fucking happens. Right? Like you can't, of course you can't predict what's gonna happen if you walk down the street. You can manifest and stuff like that, but let's just say hypothetically you're a toxic person, or you're a depressed person, you're a toxic person, or I don't know, you're bipolar or some shit like that, whatever, right? Like you're unhappy in life, you walk down the street, and then by pure fucking chance, you know, this dude has the greatest attitude ever. You become best friends, and now you're also a person with the greatest attitude ever. And then you go do that with somebody else, or not. Who knows? You never know, you know. Or it could be, this could be where it starts at the end, or it could be the start of a whole bunch of people being fucking happy all the fucking time. Who fucking knows? Nobody really fucking knows. I do know this. I'm pretty sure that's what the government is afraid of, though. and the shadow government and those Illuminati dudes. I'm pretty sure that's what they're afraid of. They don't want shit like that to happen. And I'm just talking about happiness, yes, but this is on a multitude of spectrums. Just like being stronger, being a better boxer, being better at karate. I think they're blocking access to everything and nobody notices, bro. Being a good boxer, a good comic book artist, a good computer science guy, it seems that everything is blocked, bro. Like everything is being gate kept, and some people are lazy too. Some people are just not trying, because there's some people that should do things, that are good at things, and they should do it, and they're not doing it. So I don't know. There's that too, and that's not very helpful. So, anyways, I'm not getting into the whole criticism video here. We're gonna do that in another video, but I am gonna tell you, don't worry about your ADHD if you're listening to my video, and they are kind of long, but they're still interesting. Don't worry about it. This is ancient goddamn magic, bro. This is the type of shit you see in movies. This is the type of shit. This is the type of shit that your mother told you never to listen to because it's dangerous. Because it's dangerous, and this is the kind of shit people get killed for. Like I'm the kind of person that would be buried inside of a sarcophagus, inside of a fucking pyramid, and if you entered that pyramid, you'd probably die because there'd be like booby traps and curses and all kinds of fucked up shit in there, bro. It'd be like like a necromancer ziggurat, you know what I mean? So don't worry about it. It's fucking normal. It's on purpose. Mostly. Some of the times, I do think about that, and I expect people to just do it naturally. I don't really expect to actually have to say it, because it's 2 fucking hours. Of course, you're gonna be doing other things while you're, and so, yeah, man. Like no biggie, no worries. If you're drifting off, drift off, and then come back to tell me about what you saw while you're drifting off. That's an even better idea. Instead of worrying about the drifting, tell me what you saw, if you can, and if you want to, about your drifting off in the vastness of the cosmos, because it's like a doorway. My video is like a doorway, and that's the point. That's what I'm saying too. Like, my video is like a doorway to the cosmos, so it's normal for you. That's why you're drifting off, right? You're stepping in because you were able to open the door with like a good use of your emotions, pun intended. Not really your emotions, but keeping your ego in check. You left your ego at the door, and if you're drifting off, it's because you're entering into the world, into the cosmos. You're walking into the duat, as the Egyptians would say, the duat, and the stuff like that, right? You're walking in the astral realm, the ether, right? So there's something for you there. And especially my videos are especially dangerous, because if you're capable of doing that, if that does happen to you, you will understand the things that I speak of. If you don't already and you'll do more than understand it. You will have access to the powers which I speak of, if I speak of any powers at all. Hello. So, like I said, if that does happen, don't cut yourself off from the drift. Come and talk to me about it. Talk to me about it in the comment section, man. So I'm gonna stop the video there, because I didn't want it to be long. And yeah, man, I'm like, shit, I'm even excited about it. I'm surprised I didn't think about doing this earlier, about making a video like this. That's a perfect idea. If you drift, if it's not a business thing, if it's not a way of making money, if it's not a business thing or a personal issue, like, tell me about it, man. Like, if you just like understood something or saw something cool, and you can talk, because some things are personal. I would ask spirit before sharing, because some things are personal, some things are just made for you. But if it's something cool that you can say, that's just, a passagery, it was in the way kind of stuff, like, yeah, man, like talk about it, man. Leave it in the comment section. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be interested in hearing that out. I know a couple people that are interested in hearing that out, actually, that are in my comment section. I got the greatest comment section on YouTube. So I got the greatest comment section on YouTube. So, with the best content and the best host and the best curator, which is me, with the best spirits, which is Lucifer, and all the friendly, happy, the friendly, happy the demons from the infernal realm. I'll see you guys later, man. Peace out.